Sin is a universal concept, present in nearly every religion, philosophy, and moral framework. From a psychological perspective, sin can be understood not only as a violation of divine or moral law, but also as a complex interplay between human desires, cognitive biases, and social influences. Psychologists often study sin through the lens of moral psychology, behavioral science, and neurobiology to understand why humans are drawn to actions they consciously know are wrong. One psychological theory relevant to sin is Freud's structural model of the psyche, which divides the human mind into the id, ego, and superego. The id seeks immediate gratification of desires. The superego enforces moral and ethical standards, and the ego negotiates between the two. Sin can occur when the id overpowers the superego, leading to impulsive behavior driven by pleasure-seeking, greed, or anger. This aligns with modern neuroscience, which shows that the brain's reward system, particularly the dopamine pathways, reinforces behaviors that feel pleasurable, even if they are harmful or unethical. Another key perspective comes from cognitive dissonance theory by Leon Festinger. When individuals commit a sin, they often experience psychological discomfort due to the mismatch between their actions and moral beliefs. To reduce this discomfort, people may justify their wrongdoing. It's not that bad. Minimize its impact, or shift blame. This mental process can lead to the normalization of sinful behavior over time, making future transgressions easier to commit. From an evolutionary standpoint, certain behaviors labeled as sins, such as envy, aggression, or lust, may have once had survival advantages, helping humans compete for resources or mates. However, in modern society, these impulses can conflict with ethical norms and social harmony. Psychologists studying self-control and willpower find that resisting temptation is like a muscle. It can be strengthened with practice, but can also be depleted by stress, fatigue, or emotional distress. Social psychology also plays a role. Conformity and group influence can push individuals towards sinful acts, especially when surrounded by peers who normalize unethical behavior. The famous Stanford prison experiment demonstrated how social roles and environmental conditions can lead ordinary people to commit acts they would normally condemn. This illustrates how sin is not always the product of inherent evil, but often the result of situational pressures. Religion adds another dimension to the psychology of sin. Faith traditions often frame sin as a spiritual sickness that requires repentance, self-reflection, and moral discipline. Psychologically, this process can foster moral repair, a combination of guilt acknowledgement, empathy for those harmed, and behavioral change. Studies in positive psychology suggest that forgiveness, both giving and receiving, can significantly reduce shame, anxiety, and depression associated with guilt over sin. Ultimately, understanding the psychology of sin involves recognizing the tension between human nature and moral ideals. While temptation is an inevitable part of life, cultivating self-awareness, emotional regulation, and ethical reasoning can help individuals align their actions with their values. By viewing sin not only as a moral failing, but also as a psychological challenge, we open the door to empathy, personal growth, and long-term change.